So, Chaos, you said I break down commercial law nicely and how we need to operate in this commercial world. Honestly, commerce is neutral, and I'm not a master of any of this stuff. I'm just a student learning along with y'all. And when I first started doing all these lives, like I didn't assign a positive, negative, and a neutral to everything. And then as I progressed, I actually ended up learning that commerce is neutral, and it depends on what you do with it that actually determines everything. Because you can't do anything without commerce. You just is nothing. Nothing can move or anything. So your commerce is so important, and everybody wants to worship it. Everybody wants to be bound by it, and everybody wants to just focus on that. But there's other worlds at play that involve in commerce, which is the natural realm and the spiritual realm. And that's why I try to lay it all out. Simple foundations, right? My latest videos are kind of complex, but I do my best to try to break things down simply the way it makes sense in my mind, because if you can break stuff down to its simple foundations, then you can build upon that, or if somebody challenges it or it's out of the ordinary, you can always go back to the foundation. And I have a lot of people that actually come to me and try to say it doesn't matter what it used to be, it matters what it is now. And that is not true at almost anything that I know of. You always want to look at the history, the etymology, the foundation, where stuff governed. Everybody will hold on to that Cestui Que Vie Act that happened in 1666, but that's not what they call it when they're trading on the world stages and stuff like that. They don't call it a Cestui Que Vie trust. It's an individual trust. That's what the U.S. citizen is anyway. But there's definitely a lot of different names for all the different entities that are doing business out there in the commercial realm. And it is completely solely up to you how you want to do your commerce. You can take the same words, and depending on how much emphasis you put on them, changes everything. You could tell your wife you wish that she would stop doing something, but if you're yelling that, you're screaming that has a whole nother tone, whole nother meaning, whole nother come from, and it's the same message, the same words. Like if you wrote that down, I want you to stop doing this, it's up for interpretation. But when we give it life, when we give the spoken words life, that's what basically translates everything into having the source of energy that emanates from us and assigns the value to the recipient and their reality. All our realities are tied together through all three lights: the natural light, the spiritual light, and the commercial light. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm glad. Chaos, most definitely, it's all exchanging energy. Yes, and the value. We're all constantly putting out energy, but we're also receiving it, and a lot of people don't grasp that as well. But like our brains are antennas that are inputting and outputting energy. We have I don't know if y'all see the spinning toroid of magnetic fields that kind of go in and out through South and North Pole, but that's kind of like how our chakras energies kind of spin in and outward, and we're constantly receiving and putting out energy and data. And when you break it down to its simple fundamentals, like eating, you eat unhealthy stuff, you're going to be feeling crappy and garbage. Like coffee's not healthy. I drink it. I drink some wine every once in a while. It's not healthy, and I pay the repercussions of that. I feel good for a little while, and then I feel terrible afterwards. And that's why I try to, moderation is always key. But you got to look at your body as a bank, and it depends on how much stuff you put in it of garbage. If you just constantly putting garbage in it day in and day out, and this includes these hip hop songs, even though I love hip hop beats, they are so amazing. But the message that is actually being transpired in the background, and that's one of the ways that we get deceived all the time, is because even though the beat is really sweet and awesome, the words that are hidden in it, or because if you don't even listen, you're just bobbing your head, I agree, but some of these lyrics are garbage, and I do my best to try to find stuff that's somewhat decent and then do the radio version, because they do their job at like cutting out all the cuss words and stuff like that. Hi, Healing Goddess, how you doing? The Horus field, yeah, that's right. Well, Taurus, so it's a Horus, yeah, I guess you could say Horus field. But I might have listened to your music before, possibly. I don't know. So depending on what mood I'm in, sometimes I'll do frequency healing stuff on YouTube. I'll play stuff that's like frequency vibes, for different hurts and stuff. And I wanted to make a video this week. It got kind of complicated. I was actually going to do one on nature, on a very interesting concept that I came across. But what is weird is a lot of people have known about this, and I talked to them, and it was brand new to me. And the other people I talked to, it's like, oh yeah, I know about it. But there's everybody knows about the Frank Rife, I'm assuming, with the healing frequencies. He basically broke down every single frequency that everything has on Earth, including cancer and viruses and all this stuff, and how to treat. Your normal treatment includes killing your entire body, but he found out a way to find the frequency of the bad stuff that he could just zap it. And I'd love to get a Rife machine one day. I'm working on that, but that's not what this is. This is called hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And basically what it is you go into a compression chamber. And I've known about it because I grew up around ships and vessels and stuff like that, and decompressing divers to be able to work down low to weld on like oil rigs and do pipelines and stuff like that. So what this does is basically you go inside of it and it compresses the oxygen, and it allows it to get into places that normally it couldn't because it's at a smaller compression rate. And when you decompress, it then expands the oxygen and apparently allows for rapid healing. And I didn't know this. Like, apparently a lot of people knew this. I didn't know anything about that. And apparently, like, NBA players use this, and they'll get hurt and they'll start doing their hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and they'll be back on the court in a couple days. And the guy who told me about it, he went through a stroke. And I'm gonna make a video on all this stuff, but he went through a stroke and he's doing his hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and like he's already like moving his hands and stuff like that and getting back into the groove to be able to grab things. I should definitely get on. Oh, I used to be a rapper, Chaos. I really did. And I try not to play it much because, what I was rapping about 25 years ago was kind of vulgar and just has no substance. It's all about, chicks and money and drugs and, stuff like that. But I made a few songs. I made my third demo. My second demo got shopped to Sony, and they said that they wanted to hear some more. They weren't going to like sign me, but they said they wanted to hear more. So I started working on a third demo, and then just kind of like between crazy life, growing up, not feeling it no more, and whatnot, I just kind of stopped doing that stuff. But that's the old me. That's the old stuff. But I can definitely get on the mic. I normally don't do it unless I'm a little tipsy. And when I was in Turkey, they got me. This is stuff called Rocky, and it's spelled like R-I-K-I or whatever. But Turkish people have this drink called Rocky, and it sneaks up on you. And they recorded me trying to rap, and it's so funny listening to me try to rap while I am that drunk, because I can't even speak. It's like, I was just like, it was so funny watching me rap as a very intoxicated foreigner in their country. But a lot of them know English to an extent. It's kind of U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency, and English is kind of like one of the standard languages that everybody learns. Independent release help the balance of high frequency rap and low frequency. Yeah, that's a good way to approach it, because there's a lot of it out there. And what my research has shown, and they'll even tell you, some of these famous entertainers, they'll come out and they'll say that you cannot reach a certain level until your handler allows it. You have to sacrifice someone or do something and give dedicate your soul to the dark side in order to get anywhere, because how everything is controlled on a big level is by big corporations. And we're all down here running these little micro U.S. citizens trying to do things, bumping around and being little servants for the people that control and created all the systems that are at play. But the people at the very top, you can only go but so high. And that was one of the reasons why I stopped being a rapper back 25 years ago, was because I wasn't down with that. I think Macklemore was one of the only people that I know of that actually they wanted to suppress him and do things that he didn't want to, and he's like, yeah, you know what, I got enough money, I'm gonna create my own label. And he created his own label and he started doing his own thing, and he's got some decent stuff. But it takes a lot of money and power and influence to be able to try to bypass the gatekeepers that are in control of all the radio stations, all of the executives that are handling. I was on playing on radios around here in the local network, and when I first started, they said that they only play the top 25 or 50 or something like that. And it was like, if you're not in it, you're not in the top 50, you're not even getting a second of airtime around here. So I was like, all right, well, try the next network. And I ended up finding like a contest where you could get on to the radio to be able to like rap against friends and stuff like that. And it was so cool listening to one of my songs on the radio. I'm like my biggest fan, so I would listen to my music over and over again. And when I turned on the radio and it was me playing on the radio, I thought that somehow my CD started playing. Back then it was, CDs were the thing. And it was just so neat listening to me on the radio. Independent release, yep. So yeah, my music business mentor stayed in the light, and he was a Sony executive. Oh, that's cool. Heck yeah, that's pretty intense. Chaos, yeah, maybe we can link up and try to work out something as far as the music goes. Like I said, I am pretty good at grafting lyrics, because I don't know, I overthink. And that was actually one of the issues that I had with my demos, is when I would create music, I would put it out to the public and get feedback. And one of the things that they said about my music was I'm going too deep. Because when I used to write music, one of my favorite, like, not mentors, but I guess idols, even though you're not supposed to, idol, but was Nas. And I loved how deep Nas would go. Nas would get into lyrics that like meant something, because I think a lot, I overanalyze. And when I would make music, some of the feedback that I got was that I put too much thought in it. And I was like, how is that possible? Because you're trying to basically create lyrics that are, in depth and intense and have meaning and thought and purpose. And it wasn't until I got like a little older until I kind of understood, when you're putting out music, same thing like this content that I'm putting out, very few people want to think. They don't want to look and examine their lives. They don't want to think about the issues that they have. They usually want to try to hide behind whiskey, booze, drugs, or something like that. So when I looked at it from a different level, other than me trying to be a rapper and wanting everybody to like understand like how deep and how awesome my lyrics are intertwined and everything, I even was going to have me rapping on two different speakers at the same time, but having similar words that are said at the same time, but having two different lyrics going. And I was like getting on that level. And it wasn't until, like I said, I found out that nobody wants to think, like, especially like if they're in the club or something like that. That's the last thing that somebody wants to do, is examine their life when they're just trying to get drunk and party. Grand Rising, Cancer Empath, how you been, man? It's been a long time. Low Beauty, how you doing? Nice to see you. How's your Fridays? Huh? What's going on? I'm out here to try to help y'all, getting on a high vibe, trying to put out some good frequencies so that I can help others and support. This is a one-on-one time to try to assist and edify y'all. Guys, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be on Telegram group. All of my social media is linked on my website, which is tagged, well, I guess they're linked on my TikTok profile page. I have foundations that are laid for everybody to try to understand nature, spirit, and commerce. That's my walk. That's what I'm putting out. There's playlists that are attached to each of those that I've created on my website that you can listen to in order, which I highly suggest everybody to do if you haven't. It is starting to get lengthy, but that is what it is. You're Cancer. You're now plowing snow for all my neighbors on my quad. That actually sounds like fun. I would love to plow some snow on a quad, because I've done it with a shovel and hand, and it is not fun at all. It is a pain in the butt, for real. I'm gonna try to text this person while I'm baby mama calling, and she should know what happens every Friday, but she hasn't yet. So how's everybody out there in TV land on Friday? I hope you're enjoying yourself. I put this time aside to try to help and assist with the IRS issues, the bank's issues, baby mamas, children's health, spiritual, any kind of guidance, any kind of questions at all, I'm here to try to assist the best that I can, and that's what I'm here for. And other than that, this is the Trail Show, and when this is not the best time to try to come on sometimes. It's Friday, and I had to come on a little early because I got to pick my daughter up soon. So, and I'm gonna do my best to put this live out today, but it might end up having to be posted tomorrow on YouTube because it takes, for some reason, when I try to load a video on YouTube, it takes like 30 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes to just do the standard definition, and then it takes like 118 to do a high definition. It somehow it posts two different varieties of quality automatically, so that like everybody can view it, and that's what happens. It is what it is. It is so much fun. Still a kid, absolutely. We all really are. We just kind of eventually our natural body gets so old that we can't like hide that we're children anymore. And I have worked on job sites where I have walked around and I'm like, as a supervisor, I'm just basically at a daycare watching children, making sure they don't hurt themselves and they play well in the sandbox. On a high level, that's what my job felt like. Walking around, making sure everybody just, complied and, played safe and stopped, no fighting, no arguing. Don't, split the sandwich in half if you have to. But yeah, we're all still, our spirits, they don't really age. We just, between our mental capacity and our ability to perceive and accept and receive stuff is how it kind of elevates. But spirit's eternal, and I'm kind of on the fence about the reincarnation thing. I believe that spirits can inhabit bodies and stuff like that, and I'm just not sure about like my personal spirit, if it's been here forever or a long time or been in other bodies or whatever. But I have seen stories of kids that are talking about World War III and talking about where all of the light switches are, all of the gauges and navigation and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's their spirit or they're being inhabited by one that is speaking through them, But I have definitely seen some stuff like that, talking about weird stuff that nobody else could know about unless they were that person that had passed away and is somehow there. It's really weird. How's everybody doing? So, Cancer, LOL, so true, but talk to you later. Cool. Back to work and giving back on how I can. Awesome. Absolutely. That's how it all works. It's all about edifying others. And I always take the airplane mentality. You must first, basically secure your own and take care of yourself before you can help others. Because, and it's not that you can't help others even when you're not in a position to. It's just if you're in you have bad health and you're absolutely broke and poor and you can't barely walk and see and stuff like that, you're not the most effective light on this earth. But it is always suggested to come from love no matter what. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Bible speaks of spirits not being clean. Well, there's also clean spirits. They also speak of good angels and speaking and stuff like that too. Now I'm not saying that a clean spirit can't inhabit a body. Not today. Thank you for the heart. Much appreciated. Much love. Your gifts will be used to help and enlighten others by promoting educational videos to reach more people. Try to raise the consciousness. Much appreciated. So anyway, like I was saying, I haven't double checked, but because I really don't remember there probably is a time when I remember. So what was it, Job, or when the angels came to basically look at the land to see if there was anybody that was worth saving in it's not Job. What was it was a place where the fire came down and brimstone and everything that destroyed the whole place. My mind's being lost right now, but the spirits took on physical human bodies. Now that's not necessarily saying Lot. You're right. You're Lot. So when Lot, they were humans for all intents and purposes. That's not necessarily inhabiting somebody, but that's showing that spirit controls the form. And I talked to a lot of people about the difference between substance and form. This natural body is just the form, but the spirit is the substance within, and substance actually controls the form. You take away the spirit, the form falls down. It's flesh. It's nothing. Sodom and Gomorrah. That's right, Sodom and Gomorrah. Yep, they were angels, and they basically manifested as people. And And to be truly real with you, because of the way our natural bodies are and the way that we only typically know of the natural realm, if you see something and it looks, smells, acts, and walks, and you perceive it to be, a human, then to you it's a human. You would swear it's a human, even though it could, it could be a spirit that is manifest in the flesh. But that's just how it is. But yeah, they were angels. What's up, sci-fi guy? I see you liking a few of my videos and adding stuff. I do my best to answer everybody's questions and comments on my TikTok. It gets a little hectic sometimes. A lot of people send me videos, and I feel bad because my son sleeps next to me, and I feel bad like if I click on a message and it shows that I viewed them, but I didn't respond, and it's got videos that are playing, and I'm like, I can't really play them because, either my son's trying to sleep or, I'd have to get up, and sometimes I just like being a potato in the bed because, oh my gosh, laying in the bed is just awesome. I love it. It's like a safe space. It's a little safe, comfy space so you can just get away from everything. Close your eyes. But yeah, I'm here, everybody. Anybody got any questions, just feel free to ask. This time is for one-on-one consultation on a case-by-case basis. This is my equity class, quote unquote. I have some good equity information that I'd love to get into. I just haven't. I've got so much stuff I want to do. I've got to fix my website. I want to study this. I want to do that. I'm out here trying to date and manage all these properties. Every one of these properties is like a little baby that I got, all 25 of them, and each one of them's got tenants that sometimes they just need help. So, Michael, I know of what I'm talking about. So in the Bible it says know, or rather know of. So what I try to claim is that I know of things, but I don't truly know, because the only thing that is consistent is change. I am from Virginia, is where my flesh and my natural body was birthed and docked in through the canal. But yeah, that's I'm in Virginia. It's all right here, it's not the best place. I am doing a little bit of traveling and checking out other countries to get out of this matrix and find other places that aren't trying to destroy the populace on micro levels and stuff, and it's pretty cool. Thanks, much love too, Michael, much appreciated. P. Cruz, you just left Virginia? I don't blame you. I do not blame you at all. A lot of these people that are coming over here, quote unquote, you can't even call them illegal anymore because they're legally allowing it. They're legally importing. They're legally making documentation. They're legally giving them money. They're legally giving them domicile and food and all that stuff. So it's that's kind of wild. You just started dating again? Worked on myself. Yeah, me too. I actually found, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just gonna play it cool for right now, but maybe in the near future I'll explain more. But wow, I don't even know how to explain it. I was dating a girl in Turkey, and I decided that I thought it would be best if she finishes college instead of just like waiting on me for 2 years. Having a digital relationship on the phone is great and all, but her being kind of young and it kind of sucks. That was not easy. It was not easy making that decision, but I thought it best to. I wanted her to enjoy her life. I mean, who wants to be in college for 2 years and your boyfriend is 5,300 miles away, and so you're just by the phone texting every day, just video chatting, and like, well, it's just like, nah, I was gonna do it, and I was just, it's just no fun. So anyway, yeah, dating can be fun. It really can. That's my date that I currently have is very, very it's exciting to see, but I don't see quite as much as I'd like. But it is what it is right now. So, but that's all I'm willing to share as of now. But anyway, how y'all doing out there? How do you introduce spiritual enlightenment to your children without sounding churchy? Well, it depends on how old they are and what they can handle. I always start off with simple foundational stuff, like if they have dreams, that's like full blast spiritual stuff. if they can comprehend the three different heavens, which is the subconscious, the conscious, and the unconscious, and the different things there, like when their body is unconscious, they're sleeping, the spiritual realm becomes a little more active to the untrained user. I know how to operate through all the different consciousnesses, and that takes time while you're awake. And operating through the subconscious. So, and I actually learned from an amazing spiritual healer that our subconscious actually records everything from like birth, like everything, every piece of clothes you've ever worn, every sandwich or meal you've ever taken, every conversation, which in the spiritual realm, stuff is a lot different. And what happens a lot of times in dreams is, we're being tested, we're being taught, and we're also being shown things that on a level that we can comprehend and understand. Because when you first, when you are able to put down this natural flesh body and move beyond that, you are just a baby in this game, and that is what it means by being born again. When you can actually get beyond the natural realm and the natural flesh and start to operate and do things on another level in the spiritual, you are just a baby in the game, and it takes time. And that's why the creation is so important to understand, the 7-day walk of being able to arm yourself and be prepared for even going into day 8. And I haven't gotten to day 8, which is piercing the flesh, and that is some higher advanced stuff right there. So anyway, again, it depends on what your children can handle. Always come from equity and best judgment. Don't ever try to drown someone. Always try to offer a safe space, because we're all kind of on different levels. And whenever you're trying to plant seeds, you always want to try to offer a safe space, and always understand that people view things differently. Okay, which your perception and your truth is. Do not try to force that on someone else, because and that's actually how we raise our kids, is they are their own entities. We do our best to try not to say, you have to do this. You want to try to say, how about this, or would it be better to do this, or something like that, because they're their own little sovereign beings. They're little entities that, you don't want to just say, it's my law, rule anyway, you do this. You want to try to gently guide, and that's kind of what I do on here, is I try to give y'all gentle guidance for the best of my teachings and understanding and knowledge of the way I view things and lay things down. So yes, teach them it's about relationship with the Creator rather than religion. Yeah, a lot of the excuse me, and when I found this out, it actually was kind of shocking to me about the brick and mortar churches that are established that are not in spirit but are in truth. So a lot of them teach in truth, but they don't teach in spirit. And there is a difference, and it is important to understand the alignment of spirit and truth being together in one. The church doesn't teach in spirit. However, they do a lot of good stuff. They help homeless people. They help and clothe and feed and teach and edify and do that stuff. But a lot of them are registered to the corporate state. They take all the people's money and fleece them. And that was established since the Levite tribe. The Levites were established to mentor the tabernacle and to take 1/10 of all the other tribes to help do justification and judgment for all of the dealings and give sacrifice to try to atone and deal with all their sins. And that's what it is today when you come there and you're giving up 10% of your earnings to try to pay for sin, which that's not how you get rid of sin. But again, the churches do a lot of good in the community, and I actually one of my tenants is a church that I moved in, and so Joseph, yeah, it is interesting. I love learning. I like images, waves, and frequencies. Yeah, that's everything. You understand frequencies, you'll understand everything. We're all basically like different bodies of light, and once you understand the 3 different lights, the natural, spiritual, and the commercial light, and how they all have their place and how they operate, it would blow your mind. It really would, because it's not just the sun and the moon up there. There is a spiritual light as well. All right, low beauty. I have a 15-year-old who can hear and see things in the spirit world. He's always blocking it out. All right, so that's a little more advanced, okay, and it depends on if he's being reached out by some guides or spirits that are testing, because we are constantly being tested, and we're constantly being on a spiritual level trying to be blocked from reaching the Creator in truth and in spirit. and the people that control this natural, commercial world and the natural light, or operate in the natural light, have been given authority to do a lot of stuff to deceive us. And we are deceived very easily by the sun with spots and blemishes. You're supposed to find the sun without blemish, the sun without spots, and that's there. But the natural sun, Ray, or Ra, everybody says Ra, is the light that deceives the entire world. And it is hard to look past that light. But when you get into spirits, I hear spirits. I can listen to talk to spirits also. But I didn't start that at 15. Well, I might have started at 15. I have no idea. But nobody taught me any of this stuff. Like, I had to learn a lot of it on my own until I was locked up in jail. And then a lot of more stuff became revealed to me through the Bible, and I had help as well. But they're always there. And my daughter has some ability, and I'm just going to kind of guide and do the best I can until the time is correct to try to give more information on that type of stuff. But yeah, I would definitely, if he can hear and see, now that is another level. Seeing involves an unlocked pineal gland, and there has been a large shift in younger children being able to have those abilities here recently. But you definitely want to be mindful of whether or not the spirits that he's, well, I don't know if you said he or she, if it's like a clean or unclean or a test, because we all go through all these different things. There's tests, there's warnings, there's things that need help, and we're all given little missions and boxes that we can handle. We're not tested beyond our ability, and that's kind of by design. But I fail daily. We all do. And you're also supposed to die daily. And that is part of putting this natural body's needs, wants to death, and continuing on with the spiritual light of love and trying to help and edify others as yourself. All right, so Sci-Fi Guy, any recommendation on best group for step-by-step on correcting status? Yes, Sci-Fi. Watch the playlist on my profile in order: Nature, Spirit, and Commerce. And that should be a very good starting foundation of understanding how to embody sovereignty. A path that I suggest to a lot of people is, if you want to, you can do status and standing, which is you basically do a declaration of your status of what you want to be known on this earth. However, you want your natural flesh, spirit, and your commerce to be known. You can make whatever political allegiances or alliance or whatever title you want. You put it on a declaration, and should you choose to also let others know, you can mail that out to a lot of different people and just kind of get an administrative procedure of an agreement, and basically then you've established your standing. So then your status can have standing, because status is the anyway, I've got playlists on all that stuff. So if you go on my profile, everybody loves jumping on commerce, and what is unfortunate is all my advanced stuff is coming out now, and it's kind of at the top, but you need to start at the basics, which is way down at the bottom. But you could just click on the playlist. So guys, this live will be on YouTube. This live will be on YouTube. The audio will be on Telegram group. All of my social media links are on my profile page that is linked on my TikTok profile. You click on my little emblem and it'll take you there. I have playlists to help re-educate and lay foundations that can't be shaken, that you could build upon if you choose to follow my gentle guidance. My ways might not be your ways. This is just my path, and my walk is to try to lay these foundations of nature, spirit, and commerce, and how everything's intertwined. And that was revealed to me, and I revealed it in order of how it was revealed to me to y'all. And should you want to grasp and embody that, you can. It's all there. All the information is free. I have a website that offers auxiliary information that you can also look into. Stuff that I've been building for the last 10 years. I've been studying, I've been saving, and all the stuff that it took to get me where I'm at is on my website. All the audio files and stuff, all the class folders on commerce, stuff I've studied through. TikTok actually helped me a lot when I started downloading videos that were of high interest, to be able to place them within the, but it gets hard trying to place a lot of things because everything's tied together. So I find this great video, but it's spiritual, but it's talking about commerce, and it's like, do I copy it 3 times and put it in everything? But it makes me, I actually should just make a Dropbox folder for foundation, because that way, if it embodies all of them, I could just put it in that one. All right, yeah. So my Dropbox doesn't have a step-by-step. If you go in the status, it'll show what you can do to make a status declaration. But again, on my playlist, if you take notes and do them in order, it should give you a great understanding of how everything's tied together. And I always suggest people to take notes, watch them slowly. Don't just try to do it as a chore or homework, because it's going to take some time. Knock them out a little bit at a time as you can. Try to grasp it. And the most important thing in this world is not understanding all my videos, understanding everything that I teach, understanding millions of public policies, codes, and statutes. The most important thing is to embody what it means to be sovereign and come from love and light, and love others as yourself, like you're being, you're come from, on a day-by-day basis, because some days are magic, some days are tragic. It takes time and effort to try to come from love all the time. I get checked all the time. It is hard to stay in my square when I'm getting tested by children or baby mama, because I love my kids, but when they're both screaming and fighting and crying, like, it is so stressful in public. Trying to go to the doctor, and they just, both of them constantly, it's like, oh, he looked at me, or he touched me, or he's screaming, oh, I want what he wants because he's touching it, and on and on. But low beauty, right? He says he feels as if he had a past life as a criminal. Yeah, so that's just a different spirit from somebody, and I'm not super well versed on why some spirits remain in purgatory, is what they call it, quote unquote, or why they continue to try to find bodies to talk through, because a lot of people cannot perceive through the third eye to be able to talk on a level with angels. So that's why they do a lot through dreams. And when you have a premonition from a different entity that is revealing information from a past life, you can ask your son what he wants or what's going on. Just because he's talking or dealing with someone who was a criminal, it doesn't mean necessarily that criminal entity is going to take control of your son and then use him for stuff. But we do get deceived all the time by what happened to my audio? We do get deceived all the time by angels. They're constantly shooting arrows to deceive us in the spiritual realm, and it's hard to see through that. Deborah, I appreciate so much for the rose. Thank you. It is much appreciated. Let's see, we've been on here 40 minutes. Anybody else have any questions? I'm here to help the best I can, give lawful guidance on anything. I've got some great videos that I made. I wanted to put one out today. It just didn't happen. I might try to make one tomorrow. Just go ahead and knock it out, but it'll probably be on nature. And then I'm actually interested to see what kind of traffic that's going to get, because my commercial stuff has been throttled down by 90% ever since. Well, it's gone through phases, it's gone through shifts, and I don't even know anymore. I don't know who my TikTok handler is, and guess what, guys? I know that they're handlers, because I actually, how do I say this? I talked to a guy who I thought was actually the guy from The Walking Dead, but he was a guy that just looked like the guy. And he gets mad traffic. I'm up here and I got 17 people. He's got thousands and thousands of people when he goes on live. And if his TikTok isn't going out to a lot of people, whatever, all he's got to do is make one phone call to somebody in TikTok, and his stuff gets boosted like that. And he's making, he told me he was making $5,000, $5,000 to $10,000 a month just off going lives. Now that's pretty good, bank to be rolling in for, just like a side hustle, just for sitting on the camera looking like somebody else, doing stuff. And it is what it is. Nobody really likes to go outside and learn educational stuff. TikTok and Instagram and stuff is really good for fun, making funny reels. And there are I've watched some funny reels that are just insanely funny. It's just so funny watching that stuff. Do you know what would be synonymous with the accounts receivable? An accounts receivable is an asset. If you are a corporation, which you are by definition of the U.S. citizen that you're representing, you can actually take an accounts receivable, and it is considered money that you will be that you can use. You can take it to a bank and actually get a loan off of an accounts receivable. Even though you haven't gotten the money yet, it's basically considered an asset that you are going to receive. So you can always do that at a bank. Dimitri, Dimitri, yeah, it's been so long, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your name right, sweetheart. How you been? It's been so long. Yeah, it has been. I think I seen the little red circle on you one time, but it was real early in the morning, and I sleep next to my son, so like I can't. I'm kind of limited on watching videos and stuff like that. Demisi. I've been all over. I went to Turkey for a little while, but I've been on here. This is kind of the time that I can sneak in my live. So I come on here on Fridays near the end, and try to help people on a one-by-one as the best I can. So Remy Khan. On the private side, you're talking about like a synonymous accounts receivable. It would be the complete mirror opposite of an accounts receivable, because an accounts receivable in the public is considered debt. You're going to be receiving debt. So but it is debt is considered an asset in the public, because the public is bankrupt, uneducated, and crazy. But if you mirror that through double entry bookkeeping and look up general accounting practices, you can see what the mirror of that is. It might be split into two things as far as for the liability, but accounts receivable is someone else's liability. It's an asset for you if you're holding that. So if you look into general accounting practices, you can see what the mirror transaction is of an accounts receivable for the private side, and that's how it works. Deborah, do you show people how to remove themselves from the slave world? Yes, I do. It's all outlined in my playlist, Deborah. It is. It's a step-by-step thing. I definitely suggest watching my playlist, because after studying for 7 years, I've been studying for over 10, but after 7 years, I learned that I was not a slave. I was not in bondage. I was not being chained. I was actually free the whole time. And it was very relieving once I found that out. But now everybody else who's half awake and learning some of these half-truths and by all these pirates are like, oh, how do I get out of the system? How do I do this and stuff like that? You're not in the system. Your U.S. citizen can be in the system should you choose to use that. Demisi, that's awesome. That's so nice of you. Yeah, it is. It's been great to get around and try to do things and see people and having fun. Oh, you're in Canada, Deborah? Yeah, it's awesome. We're all here. We're all here on this plane, just kind of trying to do our things, you know. And this is my walk. This is what I'm doing, laying down my life and energy, try to help and edify y'all the best I can on a case by case, day by day basis. You know, everybody's very unique and beautiful. And anybody got any questions? I'm here. Shoot, hit them. This is Joe's pool hall. You got 8 ball. Shoot, hit them. I'm here. I'm just gonna start dancing to Coolio if not. But normally if I get to the bottom and there's not a whole lot of traffic, I'll just kind of wrap up, because I do got to pick up my daughter in 30 minutes. And daggone, trying to load this stuff up on YouTube takes a while sometimes. So can you, hold on. Deborah, can you show me how to do in Canada? Yeah, we're sovereign everywhere. It doesn't matter what country, what corporation, which is a bankrupt country, your citizen is operating in. You're already sovereign. And like I mentioned earlier, you can do something called a status declaration and then get standing through administrative procedure, but that's up to you. So you just got to take the steps. I suggest watching the playlist on my profile, Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and Commerce, and it should give you good idea of how everything works and what you can't do and can do. Sci-fi guy, if applying for a credit card, don't we legally become the account receivable and creditor is AP accounts payable? No, so how it works is whenever we sign up for a credit card, they actually get a massive amount of money from our signature, because our signatures are what actually backs everything. The authorized representative for the U.S. citizen's signature, okay? And you could have a representative for the authorized representative. You know, it gets nuts when you start getting the legal realm, but the legal is fiction. You know, it doesn't matter what the truth is. It's crazy. So when you create a signature and open up a bank account, they get massive amounts of money just from that. And then they create an account that has the FICO insurance or whatever, the federal insurance, $250,000 plus. They basically get bonuses for. That's why they try to reel everybody in. They try to say, "We'll give you $300 if you open an account here." They're trying to fish, right? All these banking cartels, because they get huge bonuses for getting people to sign up. And once you sign up, they can start fractionalizing, because they want you to depose yourself of funds into there, because they're authorized to do all kinds of stuff. So the more people that they get to open up accounts and have money coming in and out. But in the public, you are paying debt liabilities on quote-unquote stuff that you need to pay for, even though everything's already paid for. all these corporations create manufactured lack, and they all, create what planned obsolescence on products, even though they can make stuff that lasts forever, and there's no shortage of anything. You should see the dumpsters and landfills of food that they throw away every day just because somebody didn't buy them and they don't feel like shipping it to a homeless community or whatever. So on the legally, in the public, we become liable. They mirror for the double entry bookkeeping. They have the asset on their books, and then they turn around and call us the debtor in the public, because you got to remember, the public is form. It is uneducated, bankrupt, and crazy, and they show the public you're the debtor, even though on the private side you are the original issuer of account, and your signature creates the assets. But the public can't handle assets, so in the public they show all the debt, but and it's just like it can get twisted real quick, because any proof of debt is an asset in the public, but the public only deals in debt. And they play the creditor debtor in the public, and in the truth, it's in trust in the private. It's a trust system. But it's hard to get the public to recognize trust, the true trust that are in the asset, or the asset side, the private side. All right, so Remy Conde, how do they draw with just the application? Who's they? You mean how do they monetize our signatures, or how do they create an account? Or are you talking about how do they get money? Little Blue Boydie, can you talk about alien custodian remittance? Yeah, so you're mixing somebody else's process with mine, unless you're talking about just turning a bill into a trust and appointing a trustee. Because I don't teach remittance, I don't teach that stuff. That's somebody else. You have to ask somebody else that question. But you can create a trust off of anything that's already a trust and collapse it and create a new trust with that property, because debt is a property, is claimed, and you can appoint a trustee to set off, settle, and close it. And no matter what, once you create a trust, it cannot fail for lack of trustee. So even if a trustee doesn't accept that position, the trust can't fail. So it's still there, and it's still active, and it's still good and solid and enforceable, but it's just not, you got to find the right trustee. You got to find a trustee that can do it. We're all trustees of the U.S. citizen, but they play the creditor, debtor, servant, master, plus and minus system on us when it's really always three. There's the neutral party, so you got to find that third party. It'd be hiding. Biden be hiding. Mo Biden and Ronald Rump. How can Roxy R? How can you get the real title on a house? You have to do a search in the Bureau of Land Management, and you have to find where it was granted or conveyed from a king or the United States when they got permission from the king to start acquiring property. And you have to find the original land patent or grant on that, and then do a grantee acceptance on it. And you also have to see who it was granted to. You also have to make sure that there's no successors or linears that they granted or conveyed that are alive that could claim succession or heir to who it was actually granted to. And I saw places where the king allowed people to work on his land and could acquire it if they did enough work on it, and then he would give it to them. And it's like, what a perfect way to create more indentured servants that they could do all this work, and then you're like, oh, you didn't do good enough, and then just take the land back. So it's kind of tricky. But yeah, you gotta do that, and then you gotta pay. You gotta acquire it and then record it, and then you can basically enforce that and tell them to remove it from the tax register, and then you will not be allowed to use police, fire department, trash collection, stuff like that. I think the Hatfield and McCoys went through something like that, or there was some standoff with the feds and somebody who owned true title of their land, and it was like they weren't allowed to go on the land, so it was like a battle between them. Deborah, I do not have control. I have trust that I control, but the U.S. citizen was created by a corporation. Whoever creates gets to control. So whoever created the U.S. citizen is the controller. And you have to look at who controls it and what you're allowed to do with that. It's up to the controllers. So you control what you create. If you want to create a trust, you can be the controller. And I even had somebody say, why would you ever want to be the trustee? And it's like, if I'm creating a trust for my children, I want to trust me to manage it. I want to be the one that controls it and understands everything that's going on. Demici, I'm recording this. This live will be on YouTube. My Telegram group will be on, my Telegram group. The audio will be on my Telegram group. So you can listen to this and rewind it and play it back. You can download it, save it, whatever you want. Remy Kond, yes, like a dealership getting funds with an application alone. Yeah, so they create the asset on their books. It's a double entry bookkeeping, and it always must be harmony on the books. And that is how all banks also have to have a zero balance end of the day game. So do all the other corporations that are federally controlled and registered. You have to have a zero-sum game, balance the books between assets and liabilities. So when they create the asset, they create a mirrored image liability that they push on you in the public. But you can, if you know how to handle and manage affairs, you can basically get them into a headlock real easily and get stuff dismissed or discharged or take control of things. Remy Khan, and then selling of night receivables to a third-party factor lender. Yeah, once they can do what they want with their assets, even though your signature is the one created. They're authorized by Congress to monetize that, and they're also authorized to do other things. And even when I talk about how to go through the DTC and access the private side of your strawman account, you still at the end of the day have to go through a closed account doing back office banking, because they're the agents that are authorized to deal in those certain things, that are allowed to convert private assets back into public debt. You have to go through them as the buffer gatekeepers for everything. No, well, not everything, but when it comes to some of that stuff, you got to remember that the U.S. is a corporation for all transactions that deal in money. Federal reserves and stuff like that. Remy Kond. And then selling the night receivables to third party. Oh, I'm sorry, I talked too fast. Now I see why the Misi said screen record them. Yeah, you can watch this live on YouTube. It'll be posted. If it's not today, I'll post it tomorrow. But the Telegram group audio should be posted pretty quick, because that's a lot faster on the loading. It's a lot easier to strip convert it to an MP3 and pop it on there. Stefan Allman, what does assuming your name do? Well, if you want to assume your name, I wouldn't assume your name. To be honest with you, if you're talking about the U.S. citizen's name, or you're trying to talk about becoming a registered agent for the name, but a lot of people will assume your name. But the written names, you're not a written name. You're not a written word. You're not basically anything that is engraven. You are above and beyond that. You are much more. You're a spirit inside of a natural temporary flesh vessel that is going to perish someday. So any graven image that you write down, no matter what it looks like, is not you. That's like 101 for understanding that the U.S. citizen is just a tool that you can use. You're very welcome, Roxy R. Remy, yes. Orlando, thanks for the follow. Sci-Fi Guy, do you know anything about revocable living trust bank account retitling debt notes to bills of credit? No, I've never heard about that, but I have heard about. I know what a living trust is. I know what a bank account is. Retitling debt notes to bills of credit, I have not heard, and that sounds like something that we're not authorized to do. It sounds like something that a bank would have to do. So, if I hope that helped. I tried to break down the basically amalgamation of everything that you wrote there. When you're dealing in other people's games, you have to know what you're doing when you're messing with that. So, guys, it's been an hour almost. I think I'm about to pop off. Sorry that this thing only gets heated up after about an hour or two. After I'm an hour in, it's just like mad people coming in asking questions and stuff like that. But I'm probably gonna pop off soon. Yes, through the bank. Yeah, if you go through a bank, but you have to appoint somebody when you're dealing. If you're dealing in the public, it costs a lot of money to find a trustee from the bank. But if you're dealing in the private, then the assets are there. They're already there. You just got to find out the right entities to move and transfer and deal in securities and bonds and all that stuff. It gets kind of complicated. What do? I'm a property manager for one part of all of my life. That is like a tiny little piece of a lot of the stuff that I do. My passion is helping y'all and trying to edify and get y'all on higher levels to try to operate out there on systems that we're not taught about. We're not purposely not taught about this stuff in school, about banking, about tax and businesses and all that stuff. So it's nice to see you too. I normally come on Fridays around 2 this time. I need to pop on at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, because I want to see what my traffic would look like then, because a lot of people are chilling, and on Friday during work hours it's hard to get like a whole lot of what I do instead of assuming is the U.S. citizen is just a tool that I can use, and I use it if it has a tax liability, it pays taxes. For my name, what I did is I established my status and standing to basically be able to operate properly out there and make sure that everybody knows who I am. That's what I do. And I don't know what you're trying to do by assuming a name. That's up to you. P. Cruz, I need to talk about banking. I am at wall with the executive level. Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. You know, there's codes that you can bind them in. You can get them in your own private administrative procedure. I have videos on all this stuff, you know, depending on, you know, what you're trying to do. And I could scroll back to the last thing you said, but I don't think you said anything for a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you say anything for a while. So when you're on an executive level, the CFO, the CEO, and the president can bind the corporation into contractual obligations, and you can get them into an agreement. You can do all kinds of things, but you have to know what you're doing, or you could get hurt. A lot of people want to say, oh, just file this form. File a 1099-C. Yeah, guess what, guys? This 1099-C will work every day, 7 days of the week. And then once the IRS does the audit and they find out that everything hasn't gone full circle because you don't know what you're doing, they're going to open up an investigation against you, and they're going to have a court case against you, because you cannot just cancel a debt without an agreement between all the parties on that. So you have to get somebody into an agreement. It's up to you to understand the process. Now, I love helping people, but I also don't hold people's hands for every single little baby step all day. They keep pushing your knowledge. That's a good thing, right, P. Cruz? I mean, that's good to be pushing your knowledge. Stefan, do I suggest watching my playlists on my profile page of TikTok? They are lengthy. It takes time. And if you only watch one, you know, you'll have more knowledge than most of the people out there. But if you watch all three or all four, Foundation, Nature, and Spirit, and Comet, you'll be untouchable. Guys, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be on Telegram group. All of my social media is linked on my profile page on my website, which is linked on TikTok. I have Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and Commerce playlist to help re-educate and help you embody what it means to be sovereign and come from love and peace and be a force on this earth that's unstoppable. You look at 5 hours a day right now. Yeah, you should be good then. My playlist will probably take you about an hour, but I do always suggest to people to take notes and take time, because just trying to watch it like it's a homework is not your best thing. Deborah, just click on my website on my profile page of TikTok, and you'll see all my social media links. If you scroll down just a little bit, it'll be right near Truth Social. I have Twitter, Truth Social, Telegram. What else? TikTok and something else. But anyway, they're all there. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up. It's been an hour. I love you. I'd love to keep going and popping, but I do got to pick up my daughter here soon. Mamas, I don't want to be a leash anymore. Can't wait to be free. I am here to help. You can DM me if you want, moms. I have playlists that can help also. So, guys, you can DM me. You can email me. I have a phone number on my website. You can call me. Like, there's so many different ways. This is just one of the ways that I help out all day. I'm answering emails, messages, SMSs. I'm answering DMs. But I do it as I can, because I am busy. So feel free to reach out anytime you want, any way you can. I'm here for you guys. So I hope you all have a great Friday. This live will be posted on YouTube and Telegram. If you want to listen to it, join my medias. They're on there. I am kind of busy. It's hard for me to do a whole lot, but I'm doing what I can. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoy your Friday. All right. Have a good one. Bye. Yo.